Hello, all. It's the middle of the night, and I just got done watching, just like right the second, I got done watching a survivalist DIY father. I think he's in France or something like that. It sounded like they're speaking French and English, but whatever. Um, Point is, this guy with his two sons were out in the middle of uh, the forest that's by their neighborhood. And, he's a survivalist, so he's giving tips and tricks. And, the sons are there helping build this little makeshift little shelter. It's logs. And it's a mini little thing, And they said we're getting rocks for out to build the chimney. So they're gathering the rocks, and then suddenly gets a storm warning. And it's like, oh, uh, let's best take shelter because they could probably run to the trail and then run down the street and then get to the house. The dad says, no, take shelter. The kids take shelter. And then the storm hits, like within seconds of that decision. And trees are being knocked down, and you can see it on both sides. There's trees falling. The kids are freaking out. Dad keeps telling them to stay low, stay still, stay here, stay here. So after much shouting, the storm finally subsides, and they say, let's go back. It's like, go back where? It's a cloudy day. Everything has just been toppled down. So if you're trying to find your way back to a trail, which direction do you go with after you leave your encampment that you just made? Even if you know from that where to generally go, it'd be easy to lose your way because all the trees have been knocked down. But luckily, they found the trail and they got back to the neighborhood. Got around some wiring that had fallen, and that's important to not touch any fallen wiring. Got back and got back safely to their house, and saw that their backyard was a little ruffled or whatever. With a few things got toppled. Again, they didn't really show any before or after, so I don't know what their backyard looked like beforehand, but it looked a little touched by the storm, not a whole lot. I guess. Again, I don't know what the before and afters look like, so I don't know. But anyway, it got me to thinking about the time I almost died. I don't know if I told you this story in any of the other previous videos. If not, then fine, whatever. Yes, I was 7. Yeah, I was 7. 6 or 7, something like that. It was a year or so after we have moved into the the house in Rialto, the first house. We lived in 3 houses, all in the same street, pretty much right across the street from each other. I believe I mentioned that before, but anyway, we moved into this house in August, September, October. It was after July. I know that much. It was after July, and we moved there, and it was a new house. Why we moved, I don't know. Economics, something. Uh, so we got there. We lived there for about a year or so. We lived there for about 2.5 years, because then we moved out of that house by the end of 92 to 93. So yeah, basically the latter 3 months of 89, all of 90, 91, and 92. So by 93, we moved into the house across the street, because from 94 to 96, we moved into the house across the way. So 2.5 years, 2.5 years, 8 years. So yeah. Um, but anyway, there used to be a big cypress tree, I think it was called. It looks like flattened bananas with seeds inside, basically, what it looked like. And they would turn black once they were on the ground after a while. And it's called a cypress tree. Anyway, there was this big cypress tree, as cypress trees, normally tend to grow as. And so we got a lot of shade in our backyard. And one branch was particularly big, thick thing, and it held up like almost half the tree, all the branches and the volume and stuff. And for not the first time, I would look at it. That particular branch, this big, massive thing. Because attached to that branch was also a tire swing, which we eventually got rid of after numerous accidents. This is why you're not supposed to push someone too hard on the damn thing. Anthony, the brother who died, had the first accident on that thing where he went flying westward towards the brick wall and slammed into it. I, on the other hand, was pushed too hard going eastbound, went up at the apex or whatever, right when you saw and then swing back down, right when it released, so I went straight back down. Thankfully, I didn't hit the house. I would have hit the awning. Yeah. Thankfully, nothing was broken. And my brother showed such concern because immediately afterwards the phone started ringing and he went to go answer it. So, yeah. Memorable day, that one. Anywho, so we took off the tire swing and the chain, and I was playing, again, not for the first time, on that side of the yard. And my mom was, Eleanor, my mom who had passed from colon cancer, was there watering the lawn out back. And I'm just, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la, just, playing, in the mud, whatnot, and looking up. And again, not for the first time, at all those branches, and that one big branch. And I thought to myself, and again, not for the first time, if that were to fall on me, I'd be dead. Just straight up dead. Not hospitalized, not, kind of, sort of, I'll be in a wheelchair or something. Like, no, I'd be dead. Just straight up dead. Interesting what goes through the mind of a 6-year-old when they're staring at their own death straight in the face. But yeah, I did that. And I looked at it. I looked up. Tra-la-la-la-la-la. Bouncing around. Mom calls me over. I said, Greg, come on. Let's off our feet and go inside. So I pranced on over. She's there rinsing off her feet, and my feet. And sometime between me walking over there and her rinsing off her feet, something like 10, 15, no more than 20 seconds after she had called me over, suddenly we hear boom, this big cracking, and just the sound of it was just massive. You could hear the weight. It was ridiculous. Almost half of our backyard is covered in shrubbery. I'm there freaking out because I was just there, not a minute prior, saying if that were to fall, I'd be dead. And there it did. Just seconds away from me, standing there, right under it, till my mom calls me over to rinse off our feet. To that limb fail and fall. After mom tried to calm me down, my brother, Anthony, the one who died, who also had an accident on that swing, he comes running across the street because the house, it's always about economics. I swear, we moved because of economics, because it was cheap. We lived in the first house because it was closer to work or something. And then we moved to the house across the street where my sister used to live because we got it for a good price from her. Then we moved across the street again to the house across the street from us from the first house because it was condemned for like 2 years. So we got it on the cheap. So again, we kept buying houses because they were cheap. Each one cheaper than the last, apparently. So my brother, who was mowing the lawn of that third house, because by then, at that point, it was still lived in by some elderly couple, and it was again going to be broken into, and the washing machine stolen, which then flooded the house. That's why they left it, and it was abandoned for like a year or so until 2006 or late 2005 or something. Yeah, August 2005 because I was starting up school. So yeah, so the people lived there. My brother was mowing their lawn for a few bucks, and he said he heard this thing. I don't know if he was mowing at the time or not, but he heard it, and he comes running across the street saying, "What's going on? Everyone okay? Anyone hurt?" And he said, "Yeah, we're fine." And he's like, "Oh man, look at all this." And the family, the rest of the family, Dad wasn't there yet. I don't think, because I think that was at work. It was Nathan and Christina still in the house, and they heard this thing, and they came running to try to open the sliding door. We had a glass sliding door, and strangely enough, they couldn't because all the branches that had hidden the awning and had curved, thankfully not damaging the house, maybe it caused a few leaks later, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, the branches that hit the awning went down and were pressing against the sliding door with enough pressure that you couldn't budge it, not even an inch. So when Dad came home, I believe, oh, that was around 2, so around 5 is usually when my dad gets home. So some hours later, Dad comes home and he sees this, I believe. When he gets home, he sees this, and it's like, okay, now we gotta take the damn thing apart, which took the rest of the year to do, by the by. This was spring. He didn't get done taking it down and until like maybe almost a year later. It took forever to dig out the roots and everything. It was ridiculous. Massive family project. And then we filled it all in and dig this big pit and everything and fill it all in and try to grow grass with a dog in there. Yeah, sure. In California weather, if it's not on IMAX sprinklers, no, it's not going to happen. Ain't for effort though, but whatever. Put in a fencing, upholding the dog. That was ever going to really do anything. We still had half a mud pit and half a fairly green lawn. And it was basically a mud pit from there on out. Without the shade of the tree, all that grass pretty much just went by. But yeah, that was the time I almost died. Seconds. And I go online and I see people almost getting killed by falling ice. Frozen, massive, like foot long, like couple of inches thick piece of ice that frozen the parts of buildings that fall off, branches, tree limbs, trucks, tires. Seriously, my God. Like, you have to be careful when you're going down that street. If a tire goes free, man, that has enough force to. I believe half the pretty much all the people I see get hit by the tires are dead, except for those two guys in that office. That's a tire bounce into the office off the street and lands in his lap. I'm serious, but he's fine. He gets up afterwards. He's fine. But I swear to God, people who get hit by the thing, man, I'm pretty sure that guy's dead. Anyway, so that was one of the few handfuls of times I almost died by a natural event. Of course, there was that time I was hospitalized from eating bad bologna. The time I almost got killed by a by a garbage truck because the guy forgot to put it in park. Really. Let's see. Time I almost got run over. Time my brothers drove. Anytime any of my siblings drive, I'm just like, fuck it. Hope my insurance is paid up for the month. Let's see. The time I drove into a Verizon truck. I was driving angry, so yeah. Let's see. Anything else? Nothing I can think of. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. a handful of times I almost died. Oh, and then there was the alcohol poisoning. That was fun. I'm actually surprised I woke up that next morning. Pow! Just eyes open. It's like, I'm still alive? Cool. All right then. That was not fun at all. So yeah, that's about it. What is my beer over there? All right, so that's why I never. That's why I never again. I drank on an empty stomach. All right, take care and stay safe out there. Don't just assume everyone else is going to stop for you. Always assume they are not going to stop or they are not going to see you. You know you look around. Pay attention. I've seen too many people not pay attention and assume I'm going to stop. It's like, kid, you have to turn your head. You have to pay attention. You have to be aware and be in a position to know when to jump out of the way. You can't just assume people are just gonna you know that they're gonna save the day. You have to learn to save the day. But anyway, that's about it. So stay safe and hopefully we'll all see each other at the next convention. Bye.